My name is Alex London, and I'm the curator here at the Tulsa Air and Space Museum. We are Tulsa's STEM museum, essentially. So what we try and do is bring STEM education to a lot of our young folks, even some of our adults, and really kind of spread the word about the history of Oklahoma aviation, which means so much to so many people, and try and tell some of those incredible stories. Stories that our great volunteer John was very good at telling and had a part in as well. You know, there's a lot of folks out there who want to maybe pursue a career in aerospace or one of the STEM fields, and they perhaps need someone to look up to or a project to provide that inspiration. And what we like to do here at the museum is bring that knowledge and inspiration to them. You know, John was one of our best volunteers. When I started here, John was actually one of the first people I met. I had a cup of coffee in his hand, and he reached out and shook my hand and was so kind and gracious. And I think that's one of the things that people remember most about John, was how welcoming he really was. And John would be at the front and center of our museum. If you ever visited our museum when John was here, he was probably the first person that you interacted with when you came in our museum. And not only was he happy to answer your questions, but he would ask about yourself. He would try and get to know you. And he would really do a great job of kind of spreading the word about Oklahoma aviation and things like that. And that legacy that he left behind here at our museum in our Red Tails Tuskegee exhibition is really John's legacy. That's what he had such a great part of. There are so many legacies that John left behind here at our museum, but the first one that comes to mind is our Tuskegee Airmen Red Tails exhibition. The title of that exhibition is The Tuskegee Legacy, and another title should really be John's Legacy. This was an exhibition that was partly inspired by some of his stories and some of the objects that he brought to the museum, being able to communicate some of these incredible stories and tales to our visitors. And now, as we continue to expand on our Tuskegee Legacy exhibition, we're continuing to expand on John's legacy as well. That's our Tuskegee Legacy Red Tails exhibition. It tells the story of the legendary Tuskegee Airmen. Of course, John trained and participated with some of the Tuskegee Airmen, knew a lot of them by name. Incredible history that he was a part of. And so when we made this exhibition, we wanted to not just honor those folks, but we wanted to honor John's legacy as well. And so we put that together. And if you ever come visit that exhibition here at the museum, you'll see John on there, and you'll see some pictures of John and some of the incredible things that he left to our museum selflessly. One of the stories that I remember with John was, I think it was early on when I started here, we had a young elementary school group come by, probably about 30, third and fourth graders, kind of rambunctious kids. And John was one of the volunteers there that day, and we said, John, can you help us with this? And of course he said yes and all that stuff. And when they get in the museum, they're kind of running around and screaming and yelling, and then all of a sudden John just kind of raises his arms and comment. I think one of them was wearing a funny Spider-Man t-shirt or something, and he commented on that. And then within the next 5 minutes, John began to speak about airplanes. And John won those kids over quickly. And he had their full attention for the rest of the day. Locked eyes, all of that, full disciplinary attention. And that's what John was so good at, is that he would win people over with his honesty, with his humility, with his intelligence, and make sure that people were there to enjoy themselves, but also to learn. And he was just such a tremendous force here at the museum. I would tell the family, first and foremost, thank you, and God bless you. John will be missed. He will be missed, but he will certainly not be forgotten. And his legacy will continue on here at the museum. and we will continue to remember and honor John in the way, hopefully, that he would like. I know he didn't necessarily love all the attention. He was such a humble man, but we will continue to honor him and keep his legacy moving forward, because he truly, truly deserved it.